Greetings, RC Bro here. Today's video is intended to be the first in the series on how to upgrade the ZLL SG918 Max.
Every man do his thing a little way different. Every man do his thing a little way different.
Okay, on the workbench we have the ZLL SG918 Max, and alongside it we have the ZLL SG216 Max. I have the 216 here because basically it's the same car. It has the same chassis as the 918 Max, and I need it as a reference because I've already started working on the 918 already. So the 918 is a good candidate for speed and speed runs in a top speed car because of its body shape. It gets its body shape from the classic Porsche from the Le Mans race. The Porsche is a 917, and it's back in circa in the 1960s, and so it's really a race car body. And so because of the downward sloping front of it and the lines going across it, the aerodynamic lines, it's already got a body on it that will help it be stable during speed runs. It comes with a 24, 40, 45 kV motor and a 35 amp ESC. And you may notice I made some modifications on this one as well. I have a gyro on here because this is going to be a drift car, and the gyro assists with the drifting. It counter steers to adjust for your steering, and it makes doing the drifting a lot more fun. I'll talk about the details of the gyro in another video. And also I have the drift tires on here, and you also may notice I have different shocks on mine. These are not the factory shocks that came with them, so I'll put these on here because they don't bounce like the factory shocks do. Factory shocks are quite lousy. They're pretty stiff, but for what I'm using them for, I think it'll be fine. And if they're too stiff, I can always change to oil them. Okay, so what are the first steps in this upgrade process? Number one, I actually burnt out this ESC, the existing ESC in the 918, and I wasn't able to record a speed run with the Surpass motor, the first upgrade of the Surpass motor 50, what is it? It's the 6080 6000 kV motor. So what I'm going to do is replace the burnt out existing ESC and put in the 45 amp ESC. So I purchased a Surpass Hobby 45 amp ESC, and it came with this motor, the Surpass Rocket, and that is a 2845 3800 kV motor. And so it is wider and longer. And it's also we're putting in a 20, I believe it's 20 pin tooth, so it's going to be a larger pinion gear, and that's going to give us more speed too. So because we are putting in a new ESC, and on the original ESC it has an integrated receiver, and this is the antenna right here. It has an integrated receiver. So when we take this out, we won't have a receiver. So we have to put in a discrete receiver that's separate from the ESCs. And so once we get the ESC in, we got to put in the receiver. And also the new receiver will have a new transmitter, a new controller. So whenever you upgrade, whenever you change the ESC, you also have to change the controller. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get this power switch glued up to the ESC. That way it'll be all done. And I use an epoxy. I like using this epoxy. It's JB Weld Clear Weld. It seems to work pretty good. It says it's 5 minutes. It may or may not be. I never always keep mine secure, and I don't put any stress on it unless I let it dry for overnight, but it works pretty good. So these epoxy come in two parts. The glue and the catalyst, I think that's what they call it. And so you want to You don't want to get this on your hands, and you want to do it in a well ventilated area or with the fan or a window open. So I'm going to put a little bit here, like so. The one thing you don't do is when you push the top on, you don't push the plungers. That's how I got in this trouble before. In fact, you can pull back on a little bit, because if you push the plungers, it'll mix the glue here, and you won't ever be able to get it off. So you got to grip it on the sides when you push the top on, and hopefully it mix. So you mix a little bit up. Yeah, it has a strong odor, so you want to make sure you got windows open, or do it somewhere where it's ventilated. You take this fella, and we're going to do it like that. So I'm going to take it, hold it by the wire here, and put the epoxy right here. There you go, that should be enough. And now I'm going to mount it here. Now this is not a quick grab epoxy, so what I'm going to have to do is put a piece of tape to hold it in place. There we go. Now I'm going to pull the tape this way and put it over here. And now if you look inside here, you see that the switch is in place. Okay, so while the glue is drying, we're going to go ahead and take out this ESC. So I'm going to disconnect the servo wires. And fortunately, this car has a 3-wire servo, so we don't have to purchase another servo. And if you look at it, you see we have 3 number 1, looks like number 1 screws here. One right there, 2 and 3. Pretty basic, so let's go ahead and take those out. Oh yeah, also let's disconnect this utility, this particular wire. You know, this car has wonderful lighting. It has the turn signals, and it's got the lights, and it's got the nice, what they call tiger's eye, and it's really nice. I don't know if I'll be able to get that working with the new ESC. It's a speed run car, so it's not a big deal, but it's nice having those lights going. And also it has turn signals. When you turn left and right, it actually turns. So, but I'm not going to worry about that secondary right now. So let's go ahead and get this out. Oh, let's get my car lift, patented 2x4 car lift. Magnet to keep the screws. Okay, screws out, and let's go ahead and lift it out. I saved these because I want to go inside of it and see if I can find out what burnt out. But yeah, it did burn out, unfortunately. So the next thing we're going to do is mount the Dumbo RC receiver. It's the P6F receiver. What's nice about these Dumbo RC transmitter receiver systems is that all you need is one transmitter to communicate with multiple receivers. So I have several cars that have these receivers, and it's nice that I'm able to use the one receiver to work with all those cars. So we're going to go ahead and mount that. And I'm going to mount it right up against the lighting control box with a zip tie, just like what they did here. Mine's a little beefier, but it's the same thing. So we're just going to go ahead and put it in place, and we're mounting it on the center support. You know, just like that. One of the easier parts. Okay. Alrighty. Nice and tight. Not going anywhere. That's in place. And it's not that long, so you want to make it close to here so you can plug it right into the servo. I'm disconnect it for now, but there you go. It's in place. Okay, so now we're ready for the next step. We have successfully glued the switch to the ESC, as you can see. This dried overnight, and it's got a good bond. This is what it looks like. It is in place and functional. And so now we can compare the old ESC to the new ESC. And if you look at them, they this one, if you look at the profiles, this one is thinner. This one has the new one has a bigger heat sink on it because it's got to dissipate more heat. It's 45 amps as opposed to 35 amps. This has a small heat sink on it. This has a big heat sink with a fan on it as well. But the nice thing is they're about the same. They have about the same footprint. If you look at the lengths look pretty much exactly the same, which is nice. But if you look at the widths, the old one is actually a little bit wider. So this looks like it's going to be a good fit. So let's see. Car, so you get a better view. Like that. It looks like a perfect fit. Only thing is that the footprint's about the right size, but because this is a taller one, we have to make sure it's not hitting anything. So in the back, it looks really good. But in the front, you have your steering arm there that's going to be very close. If you can see it right here, the steering arm. And if I just work the steering arm, you see it's very, very close to hitting it. Very close. And so, but it's not hitting it. If I push it all the way back this way and push it all the way to the end of the car and hold it in place like that and pull the wires, you see it's just like it's hitting it. Let's see if I move it. Okay, move it to the side a little more. It's just missing it, and that's good enough. So the other alternative is, if I wanted to move it back some, I'd have to cut these posts right here. If you see, these are the posts that secured the old one, and I can move it back more. But I'm gonna save that for later. If I can get this in without cutting the posts, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. This is 100% silicone, clear silicone glue. It's not really a glue. It's adhesive and a sealant. So what's nice about silicone is if you decide at a later date to pull it out, it's much easier to get out. It holds it in place, but you can actually take a knife and pry underneath it, it'll come right out. I've had mixed success with using silicone. Sometimes some cars it holds holds permanently, and depending on the makeup of the plastic, on other cars I had to actually replace it with epoxy. So we're going to try silicone on this one. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some sandpaper and I'm going to sand the bottom of this to make this surface rough so that it has better adhesion. Okay, so here's my sandpaper. I have 120 grit. That's my go-to sandpaper, but you can use whatever you have. You don't want to get anything much rougher than that. Well, actually it doesn't matter. And so this is a pretty good one. So we're going to take the sandpaper. We're going to take the new ESC and basically rub it back and forth on here and until it gets this nice and smooth. Okay, I'm gonna go clean it up a little bit. Okay, to clean it up, I just got a slightly dampened paper towel and clean it up on it. As you see, it's slightly roughened here, so this should make it stick a little better. So let's bring the car over. And we're going to take the silicone and put it in the caulk gun. It's caulk, silicone caulk. It's not glue. And for yourself, if you're doing this, you don't have to have a big old tube of silicone. This comes in a squeeze tube that fits in your hand. That's probably more appropriate than this. I do a lot of work where I do a lot of caulking, so that's why I have it. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put a, I'm going to get rid of that. This has been sitting here for a minute, so I'm going to get rid of this caulk that's on the end, get some fresh out the tube, and I'm going to apply it to the bottom generously. You don't want to get this on your hands, and you want to do this in a well ventilated area with some windows or fans or outside, and that way you don't have to, it's very smelly, and it's best not to have it inside if you can avoid it. And here we go. I'm going to do a test fit, and I'm going to pull it up just to see how it's sticking, and it's sticking very well. When I pull on it, it doesn't want to come up, so I'm not going to pull it up. I'm going to push it into place, and I'm going to do a test. And that looks pretty good, if you ask me. What do you think? Can you see where the steering arm is missing the servo? There it is. Get this out the way. Don't pull it. Yep. If it stays like that, that's perfect. So let me just go ahead and press it down and to the side, and it looks really good. And if I wiggle it, it doesn't want to move. So that means it's got plenty adhesion and it's in place. Once again, check it again. Oh yeah, that's great. So I'm going to set it this way so the gravity assists, and go check it in a few hours.